Welcome to the Virgin Diet Lifestyle Show with your host, celebrity nutrition and fitness expert and New York Times bestselling author, JJ Virgin.
You can think your way thin. Literally, I'm going to give you some mindful eating strategies and just do one at a time. I'm going to give you a bunch of them, but just pick one and start doing it until it becomes second nature, and then go to the next one. And what it's going to do is going to make weight loss effortless. Now, I'm telling you this, that you still have to make the right choices, right? But as you make the right choices, this is going to also help you not get into this cycle of overeating or maybe not eating when you're hungry. Okay? Here's the first one. Shrink your plate. You know what's so interesting is our cupboards are now bigger than they used to be because our plates are bigger. I know that some of the restaurants I go to where they have like the trough salads, which I'm like so happy when they do these big things, but they do make you overeat. So one of the easiest ways for you to control your portion size is just to control your plate size. That's so simple. So that's step one. And along with a plate, skinnier glasses are important here too. Now, I got to tell you something both about the plate and the glasses. This is important when you're doing something like, say, a glass of Cabernet. I did this really fun video with my buddy, Dr. Sarah Gottfried, in defense of wine, but we took out a glass that I'd given Sarah that literally you could pour a whole bottle of wine in, and it's really easy to go, oh, I'm not having that much wine, it's just one glass, right? But if you make smaller glasses, skinnier glasses, it helps you stay in control. This is great in every place except for water, where I want you having more. So big glasses for ice water, skinny glasses for other things. Same with your plate. If you're eating a load of steamed broccoli, hey, you know what? You can go get the biggest bowl out there that you can find. Same with all those non-starchy vegetables. But if you're having a bowl of quinoa, oh my gosh, let's shrink your plate. Now, another big one is to put it away. So figure out what you want to eat for dinner, and then don't put it all over the table. Sit down at the table, put the things that you're going to eat on your plate, and then put everything else, cover it up, package it away, and put it away. The only thing that you leave out are things that you would want to have seconds on, like non-starchy vegetables that I always want you eating more of. Remember, I want you having 5 to 10 servings of non-starchy vegetables a day. A serving is a half a cup of cooked or a cup of raw, and those are things like lettuces, onions, peppers, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, asparagus. You know the difference between non-starchy and starchy, I know. So everything else though, put it away. And the same thing goes if you're at a table. I always tell people, do not invite the enemy to the table. So if you're at a restaurant and they bring the bread over, I mean, if someone sits the bread down at the table, really, do you think you're going to be able to deal with this? Don't make this hard on yourself. Don't be mean to yourself. Put it away, send it away. And if you're eating with a bunch of people who actually eat gluten, see, I have no more friends who eat, like everyone's been turned over to the gluten-free life in my world. But if you do end up at a table with someone who eats gluten, just make sure it's out of reach and tell them to get a real sharp knife if you go reaching for it. I'm kidding. Actually, not that much. Now, next thing that you want to do is to put your fork down between bites. They did this amazing study where they showed that people who chewed more, 40 chews per bite, lost more weight. Now, I looked at that and went, 40 chews per bite, really? Like, we're lucky to get, 10 to 20. But I do want you to start focusing on chewing more. And then one of the things that can help there is just put your fork down. Put your fork down in between. Now, another great thing that you can do is to eat with slow pokes. Eat with slow pokes, and along those same lines, don't just eat with slow pokes, be the last to finish. And it might mean that somewhere in the middle of the meal, you have to actually get up and go to the bathroom, breathe, reconnect, and come back out. But be the last to finish. Eat slowly, talk more, eat less, right? Slow it all down. This is critical. Here's a couple other things, and if you've ever been to one of those great parties where they have amazing wine, they just keep pouring more and more and more, you lose complete track of what you're drinking. Turns out that if they actually kept the empty bottles on the table, you would drink less. Same thing goes with chicken wings. Dr. Brian Wansink did this study where he showed chicken wings, and people had to keep the wings out that they'd eaten, and they ate less, but the minute that they had them taken away, they just kept going because they had no way to gauge how much they'd done. Now, another thing is out of sight, out of mind. Like, don't do something crazy, like put a box of, like a thing of chocolates on your desk. right? They did a study, the Hershey's Kiss study, where all they did was move the Hershey Kisses 6 feet away. So you actually had to get up and go to them. And people ate, it was something crazy like half as many. But then when they covered them, it was even more so. One of the techniques I use with my kids is the food that I want them to eat. Well, now they're like taller than me. But back when they weren't that tall, I put everything at eye level that I wanted them to eat. So in the fridge, they'd open it up, and there are things like the vegetables and the chicken and the hummus and the guacamole, all where they'll see them. I wouldn't put a cake right at eye level. That's crazy. So same thing with you. Out of sight, out of mind. Put the things you don't want to be eating, get them away, put them in the freezer, right? Put them away, and put things around that you do want to be taking advantage of. What's so cool about all of this stuff is that these are simple things that you can put into practice one by one that change everything. And it's really, weight loss becomes, in the words of Dr. Mark Hyman, my pal, automatic. Like you don't even have to think of this anymore. And I view this as just making it easy on yourself, making it simple. So I want you to really think about these strategies. I've just given you a bunch of them. Think about where you're going to start here. And then I'm going to give you one more that is the single biggest strategy that I can think of. It is the most important thing that you can do. In fact, this strategy is such a big deal that when they looked at people who were on a program, on a weight loss program, this was the #1 determinant of success. And the people that did this lost twice the weight as the people who didn't. And it doesn't cost anything. And that is writing it down. Yep, journaling. Now, when I used to work with private clients, if they wouldn't journal, I fired them. And I didn't care if they were a rock star or a billionaire. It didn't matter. They had to do this. We can do this. So write it down. You can write it into your phone. You can do an app. You can write it. I like to do it the old-fashioned way because I will do journaling too. Journal it down because it will make you so mindful as to what you're doing. And the best way to really put these strategies into place is to start with picking one and journaling with it. And that way you make sure that it happens.
Fact. The true cause of weight gain is not calories. It's food intolerance. A negative reaction to certain foods, even foods you thought were healthy, can lead to a variety of symptoms, including weight gain, acne, bloating, and lack of energy. The solution is simple. Avoid the foods your body doesn't tolerate. But which foods? That's the secret JJ reveals in her book, The Virgin Diet. Drop 7 foods, lose 7 pounds, just 7 days. Discover the sneaky 7 foods by visiting jjvirgin.com/books and be on your way to losing 7 pounds in 7 days.